Good evening, Red Star Rebels. It's July 11th, 2023. This is Podcast Season 3, episode number 15, and we are Red Star Report. I'm Hal Lohr, and this is Voices for the California Nation. I think I need a new word for something, because as a California independence movement advocate and a political commenter, I keep finding myself in a place where English simply doesn't have a term for a certain situation. I mean, just to give you an example of how modern American English tends to fall short as a communications tool, really, what's the difference between a political commenter and a political commentator? I mean, commentator? Is a commentator a commenter plus a side of potatoes? How very American. I mean, yes. I think I'll have the political commentator with a side of fries. For me, that just kind of illustrates what's happening to dialogue in America in general. It's dumbing down to its final version of the cultural hillbilly-centric idiocracy while trying to failingly sound grandiose and important at the same time. American political theater resembling more and more the dual masks of tragedy and comedy. But for me, like I said, the word I'm looking for would define a conversational, emotional situation more than a thing. It's those times while talking where the person or persons I'm engaged with say something so stupid, disproven, or inappropriate that I feel we should both be embarrassed that I need to stop the discussion and correct them on it. Those times in conversations where you think the other person should have simply known better. Maybe there's a word in German or Spanish that would define it. If not, maybe Yiddish, I don't know. All great languages where I've personally heard perfect descriptions of various aspects of human stupidity, and I'm sure in a world of human speech, some culture would let me borrow a cup of verbiage to express this thought. I mean, isn't that one of the advantages of being a Californian versus being an American? As a Californian with a California dream of a free and independent nation, without the shackles of dying U.S. imperialism, white supremacy, and fossil fuel-addicted foreign policy, I can be free to engage and share in the world community. I don't have to put up an American filter set to auto-hate on my pair of purposely rose-colored California sunglasses. And maybe, I can even find that word I was looking for to describe how it feels being a California secessionist when some U.S. collaborating California Democratic Party shill ignores the obvious modern American reality to give me their party line. You know, that we don't need all this divisive talk of California independence. We just need to re-elect Joe Biden, and the other Democrats reach across the aisle and all just come together again as Americans. See what I mean? Embarrassing. Really could use that word. This is Voices for the California Nation.
The power of human beings to affect and control and change the environment is growing as our technology grows. And at present time, we clearly have reached the stage where we are capable, both intentionally and inadvertently, to make significant changes in the global climate and in the global ecosystem. And we've probably been doing, on a smaller scale, things like that for a very long period of time. For example, slash and burn agriculture is an example of how humans are perfectly capable of making these unexpected and inadvertent changes. Because the effects occupy more than a human generation, there is a tendency to say that they are not our problem. Of course, then they are nobody's problem. Not on my tour of duty, not on my term of office. It's something for the next century. Let the next century worry about it. But the problem is that there are effects, and the greenhouse effect is one of them, which have long time constants. If you don't worry about it now, it's too late later on. And so in this issue, as in so many other issues, we are passing on extremely grave problems for our children when the time to solve the problems, if they can be solved at all, is now. Here is a problem which transcends our particular generation. It is an intergenerational problem. If we don't do the right thing now, there are very serious problems that our children and grandchildren will have to face. I think that what is essential for this problem is a global consciousness, a view that transcends our exclusive identifications with the generational and political groupings into which by accident we have been born. The solution to these problems requires a perspective that embraces the planet and the future, because we are all in this greenhouse together.
Okay, looks like I'm flying solo again, but don't worry. Even though many of them are taking small summer breaks, there's plenty in the queue from contributors, and look for more in the coming weeks. As for next week's Red Star Report, we will be taking a 1-week break, but again, don't worry. Red Star Report will return on the 25th of July, and this YouTube channel will be releasing another episode of the Free the Bear podcast next week. But if that's not enough for you, and how could it possibly be, you can always catch KPFK's Rebel Alliance News weekdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on 90.7 FM KPFK Los Angeles, or you can live stream KPFK shows anytime at kpfk.org. And of course, you can hear me live on the radio on KPFK's Rebel Alliance News on Friday nights. This week's show will be my 3-month anniversary. So, I'm hoping that means I've passed the audition. Hopefully.
Move on to the next question. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what... you know what I mean. Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Diversity and opportunity.
Lewis?
Freedom and freedom. So let's keep it that way.
Will? What about the people? Why is America
not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer.
You're saying...
Yes.
Let's talk about...
Fine. Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of her paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs votes. It costs airtime and column inches. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. If liberals are so fucking smart, how come they lose so goddamn always?
Hey.
And with a straight face, you're gonna tell students that America is so star-spangled awesome that we're the only ones in the world who have freedom? Canada has freedom. Japan has freedom. The UK, France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Australia, Belgium has freedom. So 207 sovereign states in the world, like 180 of them have freedom.
All right.
And yeah, you, sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know. And one of them is, There is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number 4 in exports. We lead the world in only 3 categories: number of incarcerated citizens per capita, number of adults who believe angels are real, and defense spending, where we spend more than the next 26 countries combined, 25 of whom are allies. Now, none of this is the fault of a 20-year-old college student, but you nonetheless are, without a doubt, a member of the worst generation ever. So when you ask what makes us the greatest country in the world, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yosemite? Sure used to be. We stood up for what was right. We fought for moral reasons. We passed laws, struck down laws for moral reasons. We waged wars on poverty, not poor people. We sacrificed. We cared about our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths were, and we never beat our chest. We built great big things, made ungodly technological advances, explored the universe, cured diseases, and we cultivated the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We reached for the stars, acted like men. We aspired to intelligence. We didn't belittle it. It didn't make us feel inferior. We didn't identify ourselves by who we voted for in the last election, and we didn't scare so easy. We were able to be all these things and do all these things because we were informed by great men, men who were revered. First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore.
Okay, enough fun. It's time for talking points. This is Talking Points, and we are Californians. And it's no secret that one of the absolute best things that could ever happen for Californians after California becomes a free and independent country would be the end of having to rely on America's two-party system. An opportunity to build a new political system for the California Republic where the issues of the public good drove the vast considerations of our political narrative. With no more winner-takes-all federal government infested with Republicans and Democrats squabbling over who gets to suck up to their well-defined corporate donor bases. I mean, it's one of my favorite political sayings about American politics that goes, Republicans don't pretend they still care about the American people, and Democrats still pretend they do. But we are Californians, living in a state of California with a monolithic super blue majority staring out at a sea of super red majority states who are absolutely in the driver's seat on America's foreign and domestic policies. It's pretty obvious that America's two-party system has congealed to the point where all we have left are corporate donor priorities and Christo-fascist Republican Party priorities across America and an unchecked Democratic Party here at home. And there's little doubt that both these situations favor corruption over the public good for the people of California. Having said that, if we live in the here and now, we need to keep some things in mind. We are Californians. We generally either lean to or stand hard on the left side of the political scale, holding progressive socioeconomic values which makes us justifiably unforgiving of political corruption. But as much as we get frustrated and even angry with Sacramento and the California Democratic Party for that matter, we need to remember that at least they aren't the GOP. Because we are Californians. We believe that war is actually not cool. We are Californians. We understand that having a livable planet is way more important than corporate profit. We are Californians. We know that skin color or language don't make a person more or less human. We are Californians. We get that women have the right to own and control what happens to their own bodies. We are Californians. We see queer people as friends, family, and community members. And sad to say, we are also Californians. We also see the U.S. government gearing up for World War III over Ukraine and or possibly Taiwan. We're Californians that see America's environmental policies being written by fossil fuel industry lobbyists not to stop global warming, but to prolong and protect oil, gas, and coal company profits. We're Californians that recognize America's systemic racism at work in the caging of brown people at the southern border, in the Jim Crow rollback of voting rights, in the cancellation of affirmative action, and in the obvious statements of an Alabama congressman who said white nationalists are not actually racists. We are Californians. We know that Texas is leading the charge to criminalize women's rights to choose and regress half the entire population to a biological state of slavery, as we Californians pick up the tab for pregnant red state refugees who have to go into hiding and travel hundreds of miles for basic medical treatment to end an unwanted pregnancy, even when it's the result of incest and or rape. We are Californians that see Florida lighting a beacon of anti-LGBTQ hate across red state America, that denies medical care to trans kids, is inciting violence against drag queens, and has emboldened a West Virginia congressman to present a bill that would actually nationally cancel June Pride Month celebrations across the country in favor of June Fidelity Month celebrations of traditional Christian values and patriotism. So we are Californians that have watched the American two-party system rapidly devolve into an anti-democratic, white supremacist, Christo-fascist, red America, and for all its flaws, a progressive, diverse, and more tolerant blue California is under constant legal and constitutional threat. A growing and unspannable divide where all the current momentum means we've already lost the battle for the soul of America. So we are Californians who have lost America and are facing the very real probability that remaining part of the USA means the near future subjugation and oppression of many, if not most, Californians, and the suppression of our California values by an increasingly hostile, red state-driven America. Which means we are Californians that can only remain Californians if California can keep itself at odds with the social, cultural, economic, environmental, and legal supremacy of the American ultra-right. This is Talking Points. That's podcast number 15 of Season 3. For more Red Star Report information, check out our website at redstarreport.com. Please subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. Go to our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter page, and Instagram page, and give us a like and follow, because if you want to support the real California independence movement's hashtag New Cal Exit Media Group, it's all about the algorithms. And seriously, click that link below and pledge support to our friends at listener-supported radio, KPFK 90.7 FM Los Angeles. KPFK deserves your support too. Our thanks to all our Red Star Rebels for watching. We are Red Star Report.